Welcome back, everybody, to week 3. In this week's episode, we have all of the things you've been expecting. We have another week, giveaways from the races last week. We have an amazing interview with an Exiled Racers founder. This week, we're talking to Sums, and, as expected, another round of races. And if you've been watching the same races I have, these are getting more and more epic and exciting by the week. So sit down, strap in, and here we go. Welcome to this week's show, everybody. And we have a lot in store for you this week. We've got the prize giveaways, which we'll get to here in just a second. We've got an unbelievable interview with Sums, one of the founders of Exiled Racers. And then, of course, after that, what everybody always looks forward to, 5 solid, amazing races. So first off, let's get to the prize giveaways. First, from the Orion realm, we're going to give the award to Siebes. Siebes had the most intense battle for second and first place out of any of the races. So congratulations, Siebes. You couldn't quite beat the master, but hey, you sure came close. For our second award from the Andromeda realm, we're going to give that to Nadine. Nadine tried her best to beat Chris Beck. Now, obviously, she couldn't, but for all of her efforts, I think she deserves an award. Our third award in the Draco realm, well, for obvious reasons, this one's going to Farrell. Why? Because I've always wanted to give Farrell an award for coming in last place. Nice job, Farrell. Keep it up. For our fourth award from the Capricornus realm, we're going to give the award to Limedom. Why? Limedom now has the most points in Capricornus, and he's yet to win a race. So good job, Limedom. Keep it up. And finally, in the Scorpius realm, we're going to give the award to JL Maxi. JL Maxi tried so hard, she wins the award for the best effort. At one point in the race, she was in the lead. She tried her hardest, fought all race, but unfortunately fell to the back of the pack. Keep trying. All right, everybody. Next up, I'd like to welcome our special guest, and we will lead into the interview with Sums. Hello, everybody, and join me in welcoming the one and only Sums, one of our Exiled Racers founders. Good evening, Sums, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Waddle. Very excited to be on the show today.
And how are you this evening? What do you got going on?
Doing well. Just making some updates to the game as always. Whenever BLR lets me out of the basement, I get a chance to eat.
Nice. Yeah, well, you've been down in the basement a lot lately. Some of us may have put you there faster than you would have thought.
No.
So let's start at the beginning. Like, what got you into this whole thing? How do you know BLR? Like, what's your background?
Yeah. So BLR and Racer Dev and I all are based out of Brooklyn, New York, and so I've been playing like soccer or football with BLR for years. So whenever we would play, we'd go out for a beer or something afterwards, and then we were always talking about Web3 and different possibilities and games and things like that and what's going on. So I think it was just a matter of time eventually that we were going to, work on a project together. And so, BLR was really, I think, the one who came up with the original concept. He has a group of friends, like a punters club, where they kind of go and like kind of place bets and watch sports and things. And we thought it would be a fun way to make something engaging for people to play that didn't require a ton of work to understand how the game worked, but then also gets you the banter and the fun of being able to play together. So initially started out just as like a fun project that we thought would be something that our friends would play, and then now it's quickly evolved into something that is much larger and much more exciting, and I think we're all excited about it.
So we have you to thank for the racing algorithm. Is that correct?
That's right. Thank or blame, however, however you do in the race is depending on how you feel about the algorithm.
So what qualified you to create that? Like what is your background? From what I understand, you had a financial industry background, algorithms, things like that. Like what is your history there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess traditionally I'm like an engineer, kind of by schooling,
Okay.
but then worked in kind of the financial industry initially at FICO, which is kind of like a credit risk modeling company here. Well, really, it's worldwide now, but I mean, it's based here in the United States, and it's helping build out, the risk model, whether you should get credit or not, how much credit you should deserve, based on how you're paying for things, whatever it was. So that model's been around for a while, but it's kind of where I cut my teeth on algorithms. Moved on, was a pretty early employee at LinkedIn, working on the analytics team there. So, kind of building out different analytics products and recommendation systems and things like that. And so, kind of learned from a lot of very, very talented people, a lot smarter, bigger brains than me, right?
Yeah.
That kind of taught me the ropes a little bit, and so kind of use all that experience and just a passion for gaming to kind of build out the way we built out the EXR game, and really just trying to make it as logical as possible, right? So
Right.
trying to make it um, something that wouldn't be too difficult to understand and would make sense if you were racing in real life, right? So
Right, right. So for the benefit of all of us racers out here who are sitting here, plugging it in, getting ready to go, like, can you fill us in on a little bit of what's happening behind the scenes? Like, how do the stats interact with the racetracks? Like, what's going on back there?
yeah, so the way it works is the pilots have four attributes. So they have focus, they have stamina, they have uh, blanking right now, but they have four different attributes
Yep, yep.
that all kind of factor into the algorithm, and then also the ships have four as well, right? And so think about speed, they've got acceleration, they've got handling, right? And then for the pilots, they also have aggression and intelligence. So there's a lot of different variables involved. And the idea behind it was that we wanted to move the ships forward a certain amount every second, right? So the algorithm moves every ship forward 5 times per second, and the distance that moves is based on the attributes you have, right? And so, let's say you're in a straight part of the track, the speed of the ship is more important. The handling doesn't take place, right? So, but
Right,
if you're in a turn part of the segment, there's the handling piece, and so kind of those factors determine that side of it. But then also you have these kind of depletionary attributes like strength, like stamina, that impact how well your ship is able to move, right? So if this is
right,
like your maximum your ship can move, over time it slowly starts moving down based on different factors in the game. And the same thing with the pilots, right? So if you think about if someone is piloting a ship, they have to be hyper focused, right? And so the more focused they are and the more like locked in they are, the better they're able to actually manage their ship, right? And
okay,
so the more tired you get, naturally you're not going to be able to hit your maximum speed or maximum efficiency, right? And so same thing there, right? So the longer the race goes on, your stamina determines how much focus goes down, right? And so,
right,
like I was saying before, we kind of wanted it to be like in real life, like what would happen
right,
if you were actually physically racing. And then the kind of the wild card is like the aggression, intelligence, and that helps control your boosting, right?
right,
And so when you're racing around, we part of the algorithm is that the ships and the pilots are all sentient, right? So they're able to be aware. They're able to look around and see how okay, am I behind? Am I ahead? How much further am I behind or am I ahead? And if you're more intelligent, you have a wider scope, right? So the circle is bigger, like your radar, right? If you're not as intelligent, you kind of have tunnel vision. You're close by, so you don't recognize the people around you. And then secondarily, the aggression is like, yeah, great, you recognize it, but if you're not aggressive, you're not going to be able to use your boost, right? And so the more aggressive you are, the more boost you're going to use, right? And so, um, and the final piece of that is if you use a boost, naturally you're burning some energy, right? So that means your stamina goes down. That means your strength goes down. And so for longer races like we have in the league, you start noticing early on, you'll see some racers who are kind of ahead and then slowly start falling behind because as the laps go on, maybe they burned through a lot of their stamina and their strength, and now their focus and their speed handling levels are much lower.
So that can't just be it though, because you could have, I have seen somebody with maxed out amazing stats lose a race to somebody who doesn't. So what else? There must be something. Is there randomness going on? Is there
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like, I guess that's like a key piece of it. So it doesn't seem like, so it's not like that we know exactly who wins every single time. So the way it works is, you have kind of a maximum distance you can cover, right? And that's based on all these attributes. And then you kind of have like your minimum distance you can cover, and that's based on your pilot's attributes, right? So the minimum distance is wherever your focus levels are at that time. And the maximum distances is based on where your ship's speed or handling is at that time, right? And so then that gives you us kind of like this top and bottom lever, and then we're able to kind of roll a dice essentially to figure out exactly where you fall into that movement. So if you roll well, like if let's say like somehow like the cards are in your favor and all the random numbers that we're pulling fall in your favor, and you keep hitting the top, you're hitting like maximum peak performance, then you might actually beat somebody who's
right?
significantly better than you just because of the ability, that probability there, right?
Right.
So
So basically, if your name is Chris Beck,
yeah, Chris Beck is you know what, like we may have to all like race against him at some point because he's a machine,
that's pretty much just my commentary now. Is
yeah.
Will Nadine or Sons of Racer Dev actually beat Chris Beck? Um, so okay, so one of the things I've heard, like one of the reasons a guy like yourself, one of the developers, BLR, can participate is because it's all on the blockchain. So it's all provably fair. So when we say it's provably, like, how does someone check? Like, how would I go out and validate that it's actually fair?
Yeah, so I mean, what we try to do, is without giving away all of our secret sauce, right? So someone can't just copy it. We try to give people as much information about the race as we can to help them recreate the race and show that we didn't actually manipulate it or whatever. And one of the best ways of doing that is on the blockchain, right? Because once it's posted to the blockchain, it's there forever, right? No one can change it. It's not like someone went in and edited something, right?
Right.
And so, um, the way the system works is that we're able to get kind of a random number from a third party to kick off the entire for each person, right? That comes through. And so that random number comes from a company called API3. They're a Web3 company that specializes in quantum random number generators, right? So really, really large random numbers that you're not going to be able to crack, right? And so we're able to use that as our initial seed. That is stored on the chain. So you can see that where that came from, the transaction where that came from. And then we're able to give you every single step, the movements that we had just talked about, right? So that
Right.
means your racecraft, what the minimum level it could have traveled was, what the maximum could have been, what the actual then random number we pulled was. And then you can see if you ran that in, a piece of code, you would see that you get the exact same result out over time.
So could a person actually then take a look at the race and see their dice rolls, if you will, see each action
Yep.
through it? So that's available. How does one access that?
Yeah, so we have, I mean, and this is something that we're working on in the back end, is that we're trying to create kind of a data visualizer or a way
Oh,
for you to
cool.
explore the data
Oh,
itself,
very
right?
cool.
So rather than just watching, I mean, you're watching the most advanced data visualization, which essentially is the race, right?
Right.
But this would be more for like the nerds out there who want to dig in deeper and see graphs and charts and things like that, and that'll allow you to then go in and see like, okay, over time, maybe my distance was here and then someone caught up to me or whatever it was, right? And if you're looking at something like an aligned graph or a bar graph or whatever it was. And so we are going to be exposing that to make it a little more user friendly. But at the moment, if you wanted to check it out, we have a contract that we post to, our race data contract. That's all stored on Moonbeam. And you can go in there and you can check out all the data in its JSON format.
Okay, no, that's very cool because some of my racer buddies who are dice rolling nerds want to see like what am I rolling? How's this working? What's going on behind the scenes? And that'll be cool to be able to just see that, right? Like none of us are capable of going in and seeing something in JSON format. What does that mean, right? But it'll be
Right.
cool to have that. So add that to your list. Get back in the basement. We'll send you some Mountain
It's
Dew.
coming. It's coming. Unfortunately, data is not the sexiest thing in the world, so it doesn't quite make the top of the list of
Yeah,
things.
exactly, right? Like,
When you're thinking about like, oh, should we do the sound? Should we redo like
yeah,
should we redo the graphics, or should we do the data? The data normally takes
data
a
usually
back seat a
loses.
little,
Yeah,
but
no, exactly
yeah,
right.
we
So,
we all get enough of it at work regularly, right? So
yeah, that's right. So, with all that said, provably fair, developers can play. Here you are with us playing. How is it so far? You're enjoying yourself? Is it living up to your expectations?
yeah, I think it's actually exceeded expectations for sure. I think initially, you know, you have an idea in mind of what something could work as, and until you see it visually come to life, I think it doesn't feel real. And then when you see it, you're like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. And then I think adding in some of the boosting effects and the sound and everything like that kind of gives it a feeling of the fact that it's not just an algorithmic game. It has like a life of its own, and you can actually see um you know ships and right erasers and things moving like as if they were if someone was actually physically flying it. I think in terms of entertainment value, I mean, I've been watching the races like everybody else, and I think it's the probability levels that we've set and the algorithm that we built, I think it at least for a lot of randomness, which I think is great. I think that makes the game more fun, more unpredictable, but at the same time, if you have a top stack, you're over time you're still winning, right? And so I think there's a good
Right.
balance of both of those.
What's funny though, because it really shows how the algorithm can work. Because yes, on the one hand, you can be a Chris Beck, but on the other hand, you can be a Pharaoh, and you can have
Mm-hmm.
an amazing stack, but come in dead last, right? Like that's so sad.
Yeah,
Poor
yeah,
Pharaoh.
and I think Pharrell has a stack that's very, it's good for short tracks, right? Like five lap tracks because I think he burns out quickly when you're watching him race, right? And so when it comes to these 10 lap tracks, and then you start seeing him kind of fall behind, right? And so
Right,
it's interesting. It's really really cool to see kind of the strategy involved
right.
with when it comes to the tracks or the laps or whatever that's coming in. So.
So you've been right there. Like, and it's funny. It's fun to watch as these dramas are unfolding as the season progresses, right? And you really start to get into who's the whole Chris Beck, right? Like the whole competition. And you're right there. You, Nadine, you guys are fighting. What do you think your chances are? Like, you think you're gonna beat Chris Beck?
I think it's gonna be tight. The points that you set up are very tight, right? So it's like 90 for first place, 80 for second, 70 for third. So if you look at some of the boards right now, there's people in first place in their group who haven't won a race, right? But then they've come maybe in second or third, and they just have actually taken charge. So I think there's always a chance. In a 10-week season, there's room for rivalries, right? And me and
Right.
Nadine are definitely rivaling each other. I think she's passed me last week, and I think week one I passed her at the very end. So I think like based on what we see this week, I think it could be exciting. So
Well, that's how you ended up getting the Sneaky Sums Award, and you're now officially the Sneaky Sums. We watch as yeah, you battle, and you're right in there at the end every race.
yeah, for sure. And I think especially this week, I think like you see like it was pretty tight in our group, like in
Yep.
terms of like the top three in there battling back and forth. I think you could feel the excitement for sure while
Yeah,
watching
no,
it.
it's getting more and more fun. Well, I gotta say, as somebody who's enjoying what you've given us, thank you so much. I really appreciate what you've done so far, where it's going, all of the work you put into it. So I just for myself and everybody else I'm sure is watching the show, thank you so much. Now get back in the basement. Um so thank you very much. Like any last words for your competitors or thank you for joining us tonight.
Uh, yeah, no, I mean, I hope everyone enjoys it and give us as much feedback as you can, right? We're trying to make this game for you guys, right? And make it something that's fun for everybody. And I think this league goes a long ways in doing that, right? Just having weekly, like you said, like weekly battles against the same people over and over again, I think really makes it a lot of fun. So
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate having your time, and good luck out there.
thanks. Waddle.
How was that for a fact-filled, holy smokes, let's find out about the algorithm interview with Sums. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You've enlightened us all. So let's move on to that moment we've all been waiting for, tonight's races. Holy smokes, if these are intense as last week, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably lose my voice doing the commentary. First up, the Orion Realm. All right, week 3. Here we go. Who's going to take it tonight, folks? Early off, we've got Abs and Imperator fighting out for the lead with GW pushing. GW falling back. Siebes and Michael in the rear. Siebes making a move, fighting out with GW and Abs. Degentrified way out in the lead. Gouda Cheese making a push. Gouda Cheese. Man, Gouda Cheese is always there, you know? Always near the lead. But the race is only in lap 3. DLR, Abs, and Imperator fighting it out with Degentrified. Siebes making a move. King Waddle right behind him. Degentrified with a nice lead, but DLR with some aggression takes... Nope, doesn't quite. Falls back into the middle. GW, way back there. Michael, Gouda Cheese in 8th. Oh my gosh. Well, so in lap 5, still got half a race to go. King Waddle in the lead, fighting out with Siebes and Degentrified. Abs making a push. DLR fighting it out with Imperator for the middle. Gouda Cheese, Michael, and GW taking up the rear. Back to the lead, we've got Gouda Cheese pushing, but nope, can't make it past Imperator. King Waddle and Siebes fighting it out, moving into lap 7. Degentrified and DLR fighting hard. Top 4. King Waddle and Siebes battling it out. Siebes is always right there, pushing King Waddle to his best. Degentrified, solid 3rd. Gouda Cheese has made his way back up into 4th. As always, Gouda's there. As always, Gouda's fighting. You know, this is why he's my chief rival. I'm always looking in my rearview mirror, wondering where Gouda Cheese is at. There's Siebes. Siebes again pushing, coming into the final lap. 10th lap, we've got Siebes in the lead. Oh, can't hold off King Waddle in the turns. Degentrified making a move, but Gouda Cheese fighting hard. DLR making a push. And there you have it. King Waddle takes it, followed by Siebes and Gouda Cheese with a solid 3rd place. Well done, Gouda. Well done, Siebes. And there you have it. How was that race? You know, every single race, every time we move on and watch another race, I can't believe the battles. You know, sure, I came in first, but to watch 5, 6 different people in first at some point. Siebes battling it out with Degentrified. Gouda Cheese coming back from, I think it was 5th to finally get into 3rd. These races are insane. Next, let's get to the Andromeda Realm. And here we are, week 3. They are off. All right, folks. Is this going to be another Chris Beck runaway victory, or will somebody take it away? We've got Tycho with an early lead, but Chris Beck in 2nd. Sums making his move. In the middle, Racer Dev. Tycho's falling back. Eat My Dust. Pushing ahead of Chris Beck. Chris Beck falling into 8th place. Laodicean takes the lead with a healthy gap between him and Sums. Eat My Dust making a move. Hey, it's nice to see Eat My Dust up there, fighting it out with Nadine. Nadine and Sums and Eat My Dust, all fighting it out for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Behind Laodicean is holding on with some aggression, but Nadine sneaks her way past. Where is Chris Beck? Well, look, there he is, way back in 7th place. Oh, but as I say that, an aggressive push. Can he get ahead of Racer Dev? Nope, Racer Dev holds him off. Oh, take that back. A little bit of aggression from Chris, and there he goes again, but Racer Dev takes right. Chris Beck again. Back and forth, those two. Back and forth. Sums takes the lead away from Nadine. Laodicean in 3rd. as we enter lap 7. 4 laps to go. We've got Nadine in the lead, followed by Sums, and there's Chris Beck. Chris Beck making his move. Can they hold him off? We'll see. He's up into second, back in the lead. Is that it, folks? As we enter lap 8, will Chris Beck take another week? Come on, Nadine and Sums. Fight it out. Laodician, Eat My Dust in the middle. Oh, Smoles with a move. Smoles with a move up into 4th. Poor Tycho started out strong, but he's faded back. Fighting it out with D-Cup Lover. Looking to see who can stay out of last place. Racer Dev is falling back into 8th. Laodician in 7th. Nadine and Sums fighting it out to stay ahead of Chris Beck as we fight it out in the final lap. Come on, guys. Chris Beck is going to make his move. We all know it. Nadine and Sums in the lead. Nadine and Sums. Who took it? Looks like Sums was the winner by a nose. Followed by Nadine in 2nd and Chris Beck in 3rd. Well done, Sums. Okay. Once again, Andromeda fails to disappoint. Did you see that? Somebody beat Chris Beck. Again, what an amazing race. Watching as Sums, Nadine, Eat My Dust, all of those well-known names in the community battling it out week after week. I think Sums got a little bit of karma from doing his interview tonight, though. Well-deserved victory, Sums. Next up, we've got the Draco Realm. Draco, week 3. Who's it going to be this week, folks? Will Pharrell return to glory? Will it be somebody new? Will it be a name, perhaps, that we're used to seeing? Let's see how it goes. Here we are, end of lap 1, and Pharrell's in the lead, fighting it out with Schulte. Kyle Woken fading. Abbas making a push. Farrell with some aggression, but Peenan and Kyle Woken fighting it out. XMK making a move up the middle. Demtikru with some aggression, pushing. Can't get past 6th place. Kyle Woken holding him off, a little bit of aggression on his own, as Zeral starts making a move. Zeral, 7th place, putting in some aggression. Pushing past Peenan, fighting it out with Peenan. We've got Peenan, though, putting some aggression on, and Farrell in 3rd. Here we are at the end of 4th lap, heading into the 5th lap, and we've got Schulte in the lead. Farrell and Zeral fighting it out. Let's see if Schulte can hold on. Peenan making a move back up into 2nd. Down at the end, we've got Demtikru in last, the funky one, slightly ahead of him, battling it out, looking to push past Kyle Woken. XMK holding up in the middle, battling out with Zeral. Abbott's pushing past XMK for a moment. We've got Peenan in the lead, holding off Farrell as we enter lap 7. Farrell making a move into 1st. Well done, sir. Last place last week. Maybe we can hold on for a victory. We've got Zeral fighting it out with XMK. Pushing past Schulte for 3rd. Farrell falling out of 1st to Peenan. Zeral making a move, taking the lead. Who is this Zeral? He was in last place only a couple laps ago. Demtikru all the way down in the rear. Funky one holding him off. Kyle Woken and Abbas, XMK all fighting out in the middle. Zeral maintaining his lead as we enter into the final lap. Looks like Zeral, Peenan and Farrell fighting it out for 2nd. Schulte making a move. Schulte pushing past. Nope, can't get past Farrell. Zeral holding them off. Zeral takes the victory. Peenan in 2nd. And Farrell finally back on the podium. Well done, sir. Another race filled with drama and excitement. Farrell making his return to the podium. Congratulations, sir. And Zeral with an amazing last to first finish. A newcomer to the podium. Let's see what he's got coming. Next, we move on to the Capricornus realm. And here we go. Capricornus. What have they got in store for us tonight? Everyone starts out strong. Max speed pushing out there, taking an early lead. Let's see if we can hold on, folks. It's a long race at 10 laps. Super DuPont and the Misfits fighting it out. We got some aggression coming from Limey them. Easty making a move. A little aggressive push past Max speed. Bullet. Pacoon falling in the rear, fighting it out with Noidamoro. Noidamoro with an aggressive push, fighting it out aggressively with O Functional. The Misfits taking the lead with Easty pushing past. Easty taking the lead. Max B falls to third. Noidamoro, Super DuPont fighting it out in the middle. There's Liming him in sixth. O Functional and Bullet staying ahead of Pacoon. Max B in the lead, holding off. Nope, couldn't hold off the Misfits and Noidamoro. All three of them fighting it out neck and neck, neck and neck. Now Maxi, well done Maxi, pushes forward with some aggression into the front. The Misfits won't let him go. Misfits staying tight. We've got Noidamoro in third as we enter lap 6. Fighting out with Liming and Easty. Super DuPont making a move. Trying to get past Easty, but O Functional comes past him on the outside. Max B in the lead as we enter lap 7, but Liming takes it from him. Zero Functional fighting out with Noidamoro in the middle. Looks like we've got Easty pushing, trying to make his way through. Liming in the lead as we enter lap 8. Moves past Max B. Misfits fighting out. Look at those three. Look at those three going at it. Liming holding them off. Liming holding them off in the corner. Misfits fighting, pushing. Max B slowly falling back. Misfits and Liming in the corners, pushing hard. Zero Functional, Super DuPont, Noidamoro all fighting it out in the middle. As we enter the final lap, folks, the Misfits are in the lead, but Liming won't let them out. Liming fighting forward as Max B pushing. Who takes second here? Looks like it's the Misfits. Liming takes it. Victory. Misfits in second and Max B in third. Alright, I don't know what's happening here, but I feel like I am impacting these races somehow. First, Sums wins after his interview. Pharrell makes it back to the leaderboard after I make fun of him. And now Limey wins after getting the prize for having the most points without winning. These races keep on getting better. I don't know what to say. Anyways, moving on. Last race of the night, the Scorpius Realm. And week 3, Scorpius Realm. Who do we have here? Emanike with an early push off the starting line. A good start for Emanike. Misha, Big Crippen, Emanike all in front. Scabba, Devo. Holy smokes! Devo Silk takes his move in 9th. Next thing you know, in 4th. JL Maxi making a push. Last 9th, 8th. Fighting out with Devo. Can she make her move, folks? We've got Scabba all of a sudden fighting it out in the lead with Misha. Devo sick. Everybody aggressively pushing hard through the corners. We are entering lap 4 and Cry for Max fighting out with Devo. Devo back in the lead. I think someplace we will frequently see him. Scabba fighting it out. Scabba never gives up. Scabba just love saying Scabba. We've got Emanike, JL Maxi in 5th. Well done, JL Maxi. For those of you who know, JL Maxi is the voice behind the Moonbeams jingle. And always cheering for our favorite singer. We've got Mia making a move into 2nd, pushing, looking to take the lead away from Cry for Max. Cry for Max, though, with a nice lead as he enters lap 7, as we watch his Emanike and Devo fighting it up in the corners. Ooh, who's that behind them? JL Maxi, still fighting, holding on in 6th, pushing, fighting out there in the middle. Misha, Emanike, looks like, ooh, there's Big Crippen making a move, moving from 7th to 6th to 5th. Devo, Scabba back up into 2nd as we enter lap 9. Cry for Max still holding on to the lead, but Mia battling it out with Devo and Scabba, Devo fighting hard to get past Mia. But here we are as we enter into the final lap. Cry for Max barely holding on. Mia making her move. Coming in the inside of that corner, look at that, trying just to get an inch, and can't do it. Cry for Max takes the win. Mia, solid 2nd place, with Big Crippen in 3rd. And there you have it, everybody. The fifth and final race of the night. It may have been the last, but it certainly was not the least exciting. Again, we have battles from the start to the end. You can really see those things Sums was talking about in the algorithm, how certain drivers fade out towards the end, and certain racers come and fight all the way through depending on their strength and stamina. What an amazing finish for Cry for Max. You could see multiple pilots ahead of him throughout the race as he battled back into first. So, that's another week of races. That's another episode with an interview. That's another night with some prizes. But now let's get to that part of the evening where you have a chance to win a pilot key. Tonight's trivia question is, which pilot finally beat Chris Beck? Thanks, everybody. Make sure you click subscribe so you don't miss any of my episodes. Make sure you like and hit the notifications bell. And with that, we will see you all next week.
When you need to buy a pilot or a craft that's faster than the rest, you should be shopping at Moonbeams, 'cause their selection is the best. You should be shopping at Moonbeams, 'cause their selection is the best.